Hello everyone and welcome to the first installment of the Rarpack Minecraft mod pack from Minecraft version 1.6.4 that I've made myself, and we're going to do just a few episodes to start off here to kind of show you the different mods that are installed and kind of give you a feel for what it's going to be like. So just to give you a quick look here of what's installed and some of the big mods that are in here. Applied Energistics is in here, which is the ME network one, obviously. Not enough items so that we can see our recipes, of course. Damage indicators. I'm still working on getting Wayla installed completely so that you can see stuff in the world and not just in your inventory. Applied Energistics like before. We have Buildcraft, Thermal Expansion, Industrial Craft 2, Mine Factory Reloaded, Forestry, Binicore, which is the extra trees and extra bees addition to forestry, Carpenter's Blocks and Chisel to make some cool looking structures, Ender Storage for the cross-world storage and transfer, Ex Nihilo for some of its cooler things like the Crucible and the Sieve. Extra Utilities, which gives us some other means of power generation and things like the watering can. Railcraft. Gregtech add-on, which is the big one here. Lots of impressive technology additions to mods for Industrial Craft 2. The fusion reactors, lightning rods, many other types of technologies like it says here. There's all kinds of stuff. It also makes the game ridiculously more difficult than it normally is, but that's kind of the point, to kind of give it a more of a longer late game style feel. Magical Crops is another one that's in here, and then the Magical Crops and Food thing is addition in here as well. The Magical Crops is basically to help us make some of the rarer resources that Gregtech needs in a way that's more renewable than having to mine every chunk of the world in order to make, half of a fusion reactor. If anyone's ever played Gregtech before, you'll see very quickly from playing the game here or from watching me play that you just run out of stuff so fast. It's not even funny how much resources Gregtech requires in order to do much of anything, really. We have Project Red, which is the continuation of Red Power 2, but is built to be used for later versions of Minecraft other than just 1.4.6, which is the last version of Gregtech that I've anyone play. Advanced solar panels, another addition for Industrial Craft 2, gives you the upgraded solar panels that produce more than just 1 EU per tick. NEI plugins so that some of our other mods work a little bit better here. You can see there's a couple that I don't have installed, like Tinker's Construct, Ars Magica, Factorization, and the older version of IC2. We have IC2 Experimental for 1.6.4 installed, so there's some other things in there. Quarry Plus, which adds a lot of really cool things to Buildcraft's machines. Random Things, which gives you a lot of things, random things. The main reason I installed this was so that the leaves off of trees would decay faster, so that you wouldn't have to sit around waiting for all the leaves to come down when you cut trees down. Wayla, like I said, so that you can see what you're looking at, and Wayla harvestability. Still not working as well as I would want it to. It doesn't really work in the world as much as it should, but we'll work on that later. Zan's Minimap, and Forge microblocks and stuff, which is just from the Minecraft Forge. So lots of stuff in here, and I actually have a world set up right now, but for the video stream that I'm planning on making, we're just going to go ahead and make a brand new world, and we're just going to start and do with whatever it gives us. So the first thing that you're going to notice when we start the world is that there's lots of new ore generation, and the other thing you're going to notice is a lot of the vanilla recipes have been severely nerfed by Gregtech. One thing in particular is that logs from trees usually give you 4 planks. They only give you 2. So if we put this in here, usually one's enough to make a crafting table. With Gregtech installed, you only get 2. So in order to make a crafting table, you need to go ahead and take out 2 logs. The other thing you'll notice is that usually when you put that in there like that, you should get 4 sticks. You only get 2. So it makes wood a little bit more valuable. Now there are ways to get more wood out of each log, but you need to have tools for that, or machines. And that's kind of the point of Gregtech. It's to make it so that right off the bat, using resources is very inefficient. But as time goes on, you can make it more efficient by the addition of using machines instead of simply just using your hands and your fists for everything. So we're going to go ahead and get a little bit of wood here, that way I can make a couple of tools, and then we're going to see something else that's kind of difficult, which is that the tools that you make, wooden and stone tools, do not last nearly as long as they used to. Gregtech has changed that as well, so that you have to acquire more resources in order to acquire more resources. So I want to say that they used to last, I think wooden tools lasted either like 30 or 60 uses, but now most of them only last between like 15 to 20, I would say. I haven't actually clocked it, but it's not much. So you'll notice that right away, that it doesn't last very long, and then that is going to end up being a bit of an issue. And the other main thing to worry yourself with in the mod pack is that we'll get our pickaxe and our axe. The other thing to worry about is that making iron tools is not as easy as it used to be. It used to be all you had to do is just get 3 iron ingots and you're off to the races with an iron pickaxe. Not so anymore. And you can see here we've cut down not even one whole tree, and we're almost completely using up this axe. So it does make these things last much shorter duration than usual. But this is why I have the random mods random things mod installed, because that lets those things come back a lot earlier, or a lot faster. So we have ourselves a little bit of extra wood, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't find ourselves a mine or a cave somewhere to get started, just because trying to dig straight down into this with how short all of the tools' lifespans are is a lot of resources that we're just not going to have right away. So we're going to look around. I would like to have something that's not in a snow biome, and it would appear that we have a jungle biome right over here. So maybe we'll see if we can't find a place in the jungle biome. Not to mention there's a lot of resources that will spawn in some of the forest biomes, but I do not think that includes the tundra or the snow forest biomes. We do have just an absolute wall of animals down there that we can get a hold of later. Maybe I'll see if I can't stay close by. But I don't see much for caves or anything on the map or here. What about this over here? Anything? Well, we do have tin over here that I see. This is one of the mods, one of the included resources. Anyone that's played modded Minecraft with any kind of technology mods has seen tin before. It's actually very common with this set of mod packs, because I didn't do a whole lot of configuration so that only one version of each resource shows up. Mostly because with how difficult Gregtech is to get most of its rarer resources, the easier to acquire resources, I would rather them actually be easier to acquire. So I'm going to leave it as it is for now, possibly change that around a little bit, but Gregtech has its own world generation for having things show up, and then so does each other mod. And there will be, I think I've counted 3 or 4 different versions of copper ore in the game, which is a little bit annoying for inventory management, but for the sake of actually having enough resources to do some of the things that we need to do, definitely really helpful. The other thing that I would say is, oh, there we go. Kind of spooky in here because the world didn't light correctly. Let's see if we can make that change. There we go. The other thing that I would mention is that if you want to go straight Gregtech, you can, but the reason I've installed some of the other mods, like, oh, that's already dead. Yeah, 13. 13 is all the longer wooden tools last anymore. So we're going to go and make a stone, which doesn't last as long as it used to either, but it lasts a little bit longer. But yes, the reason I installed other things, particularly thermal expansion, is because early on things like the pulverizer and the induction furnace can make things a lot more efficient for you so that you don't have to use endless amounts of resources just to get started in Gregtech. Because one of the main things that Gregtech needs for a lot of its mods and resources, or a lot of its first machines, is bronze. You'll go through the Bronze Age in it before you go anywhere else. And the way that you make bronze in Gregtech right away just eats up all of your copper and all of your tin at an alarming rate. And being able to do it with other other mods like thermal expansion gives you a bit of a higher return on the resources that you have. So it's good to try to use that. I started off trying to go straight with Gregtech the first time that I went through this mod pack, and yeah, I kind of wish that I hadn't, because I would have a lot more resources left over. But over time you do start to get a lot more efficient, and it helps out quite a bit. So we have our rocky hive right here. I'm looking right now to try to find as much iron as possible, because in order to make our iron tools you need a lot of it. You can't make an iron tool with just 3 iron ingots like I mentioned before. You have to have an iron plate, 2 iron ingots, an iron file, and an iron hammer. And those are not cheap things to build. The iron hammer, for example, requires 6 iron ingots. And believe it or not, iron is fairly rare when you need a good dozen ore in order to make your first iron tool, instead of just 3 like you would normally in Minecraft. So I'm going to grab up as many of these resources as I can, and you'll find very quickly that you never want to leave resources behind if you can help it, because they are oh so very necessary for everything. And I usually try not to grab a whole lot of the Certus quartz, but worst comes to worst, we can make a quartz pickaxe, which will do the job of an iron pickaxe. But acquiring them with a silk touch tool is more efficient in the long run. Now, luckily, thanks to things like magic crops, we can get away with finding a couple and then using those to make endless resources. But it's not always that easy. So, judging by the fact that this doesn't go deeper anywhere, I think this cave is pretty much mined out, save for this little bit of Certus quartz, which I guess, for the sake of argument, I'll just go ahead and grab. But yeah, so there's a lot of things that have changed from vanilla Minecraft thanks to the addition of Gregtech, and there's a lot of things that you have to kind of get used to, and things that you have to do in the game to be more efficient that you usually didn't have to worry about. The other thing is, in order to make steel, you need a lot of coal, or you need to get your railcraft blast furnace set up as soon as possible, because the Gregtech bronze blast furnace does do a pretty good job, but it is very slow, and it requires 4 coal to the normal 2 total coal that you would need for railcraft. Now, railcraft, obviously, you need to get the coal coke instead of just regular old coal in order to use it in the railcraft blast furnace, but in the long run, it is more efficient to use the blast furnace from railcrafts, and that's something else that I kind of discovered a little bit late. It's faster. It doesn't use as much of your harvested coal, so it is definitely better in that regard. So we have a little bit of coal now. We have a lot of hunger going on, which means I may have to grab food eventually here. That's where we were before. There's another cave over that way. But yeah, the main thing that I want to do is try to find ourselves a hammer that we can use, or find ourselves enough iron to use the hammer. And I'm not going to find it here, so I'll leave that coal or copper there for now. But oh, the other thing that you want to find is some of these trees here. These are rubber tree, Industrial Craft 2 rubber trees. Now these trees are needed in order to make all of the rubber for wire insulation that you need to do in the game. The trees have 2 extra leaves on the very top above the logs, and that's to signify that they are, in fact, rubber trees. And I did not get a single sapling out of that, so that's kind of a bummer, but we're moving on from that. I think the next thing I should probably try to do is find a cave to be in, because otherwise I will be out in the open in the dark. So let's take a little bit more of a look around and hope that we find something here soon, and if not, I will be hiding in the ground for the night and calling it there. Any luck here? Looking like a big fat no. So I may end up digging myself a hole in the ground and then putting out a second episode later. But yeah, for just a quick show of how this mod pack works, we're not going to be quite there, but we will get into it next time. I might see if I can't find a cave system off camera so that it's a little bit more exciting for the following episode. But yeah, these are the basics. And like I said, you see right now that I'm holding on to 2 different kinds of copper right now, and that's because there are different mods installed that all put copper into their generation. So we have copper ore from thermal expansion, we have copper ore from forestry, and there's also a copper that looks fairly similar to iron, just with a more orangish tint. That's from Industrial Craft and Gregtech. So, and with a world chunk not loading, I think I'll just call it here, and I'll see if I can't find myself from some food and a cave system, which, looking at this, looks like my best bet might be over here somewhere. So I'll see what I can do for finding a way down into there, and yeah, next time we'll move on to actually look at some of the mods here. Gregtech's going to be the big mod that I try to show in the series, so I will use some other mods, but I won't go through them anywhere near as much detail as I will with Gregtech. So until next time, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time to actually get into some of the mods themselves, and not just me ambling around aimlessly trying to find my way. See ya.